So, thank you, Sally, for the gift. No, no, it was. So, so today we'll be starting from the 4th chapter, right? And total there are 700 verses in Bhagavad Gita. So you can say verses wise, almost 1/5 of the 20% of the Bhagavad Gita we completed till now. And today we'll be starting from chapter 4. Okay, this is an important chapter in the sense of Krishna will here talk about avatars, incarnations. Lot of things we'll be discussing. Why he comes into this material world, why he has to descend. So all those things we'll be discussing. And the acronym for this chapter is wisdom. Okay, because the name of the chapter is transcendental knowledge. Knowledge means wisdom. So entire course will be discussing various acronyms through that various sections of the entire chapter. So before starting the 4th chapter, what we usually do is we read the Mangalacharan prayers, which are known as invocations. Whenever we do something auspicious, we should take blessings of seniors, right? Teachers, Lord Krishna. So these are the verses that we will be chanting. These are in Sanskrit. We will read together only the ones which are in italics. Only the italics one will chant. And this is mentioned in Bhagavad Gita introduction, page number 1. Okay. Everyone there? Okay. We'll sing together. Om Ajnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Pada Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitamscha. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namaste. Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha. Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhaktavinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, so see. Okay, so we'll start chapter 4, verse number 1. So here, first is W. We'll come to W when we reach to the verse 3. We'll get more context why. Here Krishna is now trying to say that, oh Arjun, so Krishna is talking about 4th chapter, 1st verse. Everybody there? Yeah. So here, 3rd chapter got completed with Krishna talking about entire karma yoga, that you should do your action, you should do your work, but you should do it with attachment, without attachment. You should not be dependent on the results. Results will come anyways, but your focus should be on how you can dovetail your action towards Krishna, whatever you are doing. So now today Krishna will be starting with telling Arjuna that if you think, Arjuna, that you are the first person to know about this Gita, that is wrong. I have spoken this before also. So this is a repetition. You'll see that now. The first section is from verse number 1 to verse number 4. Okay. You can repeat after me. So as you know, most of the verses are known as Anushto. It is divided into 4 parts. If you remove that first line, Sri Bhagavan Vacha, that is someone who is speaking. Apart from that, there are 4 lines and exactly 32 syllables. 8 syllables each in every line. So perfectly that entire Gita is written. That's why it is also known as song of the Lord. Bhagavad Gita. Gita means song of the Lord. Okay, so you can repeat after me. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Imam vivasvate yogam.
Imam vivasvate yogam.
Proktavan aham avyayam.
Proktavan aham avyayam.
Vivasvan manave praha.
Vivasvan manave praha.
Manur ikshvakave bravet.
Manur ikshvakave bravet.
So now Krishna is saying to Arjuna that first I spoke this Gita to I was going to say mother, now God, to sun god Vivaswan. Okay, who wants to read? Someone can take volunteer to read. Yeah, go ahead.
The personality of Godhead, Lord Shri Krishna said, I instructed this imperishable science of yoga to the sun god Vivasan, and Vivasan instructed it
Vivaswan.
And Vivaswan instructed it to Manu, the father of mankind, and Manu in turn instructed it to Ikshvaku.
Okay.
Ikshvaku.
Yeah, Ikshvaku is from the dynasty of Lord Ramachandra. Okay, so we will read the purport. This is a very important purport. The first verse I'm seeing from which we can read because it's a very big one. Okay, maybe you can start from the second paragraph. Who wants to read? We'll read the entire paragraph. It's a very important purport. Who wants to read? Anyone can read. Second paragraph, from there we will start.
In this millennium.
Yes, that is correct.
In this millennium, the sun god is known as Vivaswan, the king of the sun, which is the origin of all planets within the solar system. In the Brahma Samhita, it is stated. Should I read the?
Maybe I can. You want to read? Yeah, go ahead.
No, I think you will.
Okay, let's keep it. I don't want to. Okay, maybe I'll read now since we spoke. Yeah, Chakshur. So this is coming from Brahma Samhita. Brahmaji, when he came from that lotus stem, first thing he did is when he started singing Brahma Samhita, song sung by Lord Brahma. And the first line of that song is Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadir Adir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. In that entire poem, Samhita, this is one of the lines. Yachakshuresha Savita Sakala Grahanam Raja Samasta Suramurtir Ashesha Teja Yash Yagnaya Brahmati Samrata Kala Chakro Govindam Adi Purusham Tam Aham Bhajami. Okay, read the translation.
Let me worship, Lord Brahma said, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Govinda, Krishna, who is the original person and under whose order the sun, which is the king of all planets, is assuming immense power and heat. The sun represents the eye of the Lord and traverses its orbit in the obedience to his order. Should I continue?
Yes.
The sun is the king of the planets and the sun god at present of the name Vivaswan.
So what here you mention is, see, we usually say sun god. Sun god basically means controller of the sun, planet, right? But we know that much only. But here we see, if we read Vedic scriptures, we understand that there are actually mentions of who has taken the position in this millennium. correct? And this millennium, who is taking the position, right? That means that it is not permanent position. It is temporary. That's what we are discussing about demigods, devtas. These are temporary positions. Right? Here, that's why he is mentioning Vivaswan.
The sun is the king of the planets, and the sun god, at present of the name Vivaswan, rules the sun planet, which is controlling all other planets by supplying heat and light. He is rotating under the order of Krishna, and Lord Krishna originally made Vivaswan his first disciple to understand the science of Bhagavad Gita. The Gita is not, therefore, a speculative treatise for the insignificant mundane scholar, but is a standard book of knowledge coming down from time immemorial.
Yeah, you can skip. You can read from in the beginning.
In the beginning of the millennium, known as Treta Yuga, the science of the relationship with the Supreme was delivered by Vivaswan to
So
Manu.
understand the numbers. Now from next paragraph, no, there will be hardcore numbers. So you have to use your maths. Okay, but understand the word Treta Yuga. Treta Yuga means this is Kali Yuga. Before that was Dwapar Yuga, and before that was Treta Yuga. So we are talking about almost 1.1200 years, 1200,000 years back. So 1.2 million years back we are talking about. When Treta Yuga was just about to end. So around that, yeah, go ahead.
Manu, being the father of mankind, gave it to his son Maharaja Ikshvaku, the king of this earth planet and forefather of the Raghu dynasty, in which Lord Ramachandra appeared. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita existed in human society from the time of Maharaja Ikshvaku. At the present moment, we have just passed through 5,000 years of the Kali Yuga, which lasts 432k years. Before this, there was Dwapar Yuga, 800k years, and before that, there was Treta Yuga, 1.2 million years.
So got it? So this is 400,000, out of which only 5,000 years are completed. Before that, it was Dwapar Yuga, which was 800,000 years. So they are talking about Treta Yuga when they spoke to Ikshvaku and Manu. So during Treta Yuga, which was 1.2 million, that entire duration. So,
So, is there a reason why the span of yugas decreases? Like,
yeah, because in general, when everything deteriorates in this material world means which deteriorates. There is a verse in Bhagavad Gita. It says, Ashashvatam, Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. So what is it? What is the definition of material world? It is Dukkhalayam Ashashvatam. Dukkhalayam means a place where there is miseries. If you see this place, we might look for happiness. There is happiness, but at the same time, it always comes with some dose of pain, right? Always it comes with some dose of pain. That's the nature of this material world. So, Dukkha Alayam. Alayam means a place and Dukkha means miseries. Dukkha Alayam. Ashashvatam. Ashashvatam means that which is temporary. So that means it is not permanent. So material world means that it will end. And as and when, and slowly, so it starts with a clean slate. Like when we, like right now I just did my bathroom remodeling. So now it is very nice, but slowly, it will start deteriorating. Similarly, the dharma or the religious principles starts deteriorating. So as the religious principles starts deteriorating, the life, the span of each yuga also starts reducing. Because Kali is already so much full of irreligious activities, it is much shorter. Because one cannot take too much. So, this answered your question.
thus, some 2,005,000 years ago, Manu spoke the Bhagavad Gita to his disciple and son Maharaja Ikshvaku, the king of this planet Earth. The age of the current Manu is calculated to last some 305,300,000 years, of which 120,400,000 years have passed. Accepting that before the birth of Manu, the Gita was spoken by the Lord to his disciple, the sun god Vivaswan, a rough estimate is that the Gita was spoken at least 120,004,000 years ago.
No, 400,000.
400,000, sorry. And in human society, it has been extant for 2 million years. It was re-spoken by the Lord again to Arjuna about 5,000 years ago. That is the rough estimate of the history of the Gita. According to the Gita itself, and according to the version of the speaker, Lord Shri Krishna. It was spoken to the sun god Vivaswan because he is also Kshatriya and is the father of all Kshatriyas, who are descendants of the sun god, or the Surya Vamsa Kshatriyas. Because Bhagavad Gita is as good as the Vedas, being spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, this knowledge is Purusheya, superhuman. Since the Vedic instructions are accepted as they are, without human interpretation, the Gita must therefore be accepted without mundane interpretation. The mundane wranglers may speculate on the Gita in their own ways, but that is not Bhagavad Gita as is. Therefore, Bhagavad Gita has to be accepted as it is from the disciplic succession, and it is described herein that the Lord spoke to the sun god. The sun god spoke to his son Manu, and Manu spoke to his son Ikshvaku.
Ikshvaku, right? So see the, what do you call it, perfection, right? About the years and all that Srila Prabhupada has mentioned. So old Gita is, and that's why this dharma is known as Sanatan Dharma. It is eternal. It is eternal. There will be words, eternal, everlasting, and joyfully performed. That is bhakti. There are 4 ways of hearing. If you see this, he gave the instructions, this Gita, to son Ikshvaku, right? And it was not like a black board was there and he was writing it. It was all through oral reception. And that was the level of people. Just by oral reception, they were able to understand. No notes, no laptop to take notes, just through oral reception. And that is why there is a lot of importance given in Vedic scriptures to ears. If you see, when you are sleeping, if I do anything to you, I will do like this, I'll dance in front of you, you will not come to know. But if I just tell your name, let's say I say Namra, immediately you'll get up. Because the ears are, it is said, ears is always active. That is the nature of ears. So, and that is why there is so much importance given in Vedic scriptures to the ears. Arjuna was in front of Krishna, right? He was in front of Krishna. Still, he was in a position where he didn't want to fight. He was like, he went into stress situation. But how he came out of the stress situation, which you will come to know from in 18th chapter, by hearing. And that is why in Bhagavad Gita, so entire Vedic scriptures, there is a lot of importance given to hearing. Teachers explain there are 4 kinds of hearing. First class hearing is, you tell someone about something and they accept it, and then they follow it. Like for example, someone will say to someone that I'm telling you this cigarette is injurious to health. So other person will hear it. Oh, cigarette is injurious to health. Okay, so I should not smoke. So he hears it and he follows it. That is first class hearing. Just by hearing, he follows it. Or maybe let's say some other example, whatever example you can think of, right? Or let's say a person, once, like for example, I've told this story before. I was driving, first time driver. I had got my ticket. I had got my driving license and I was driving, and suddenly from behind the police started. I took on the side and they said, your registration, you are driving without registration. Your registration is old. I said, I already did registration when I bought the car, so it's all good. He said, no, it's already 1 year, more than 1 year, and you didn't renew your registration. I said, I didn't know this. So then he said, that doesn't matter, right? And he gave me a ticket. So the point is, I didn't know about the knowledge, but if I had knew, then now I started telling after that. I met a person, I told him that when I saw his number plate and in that it was he also didn't renew. I told him immediately that it's not renewed. So he said, oh, it's okay. He said, no, you'll get a ticket. I got once. So he heard it and next day he did it. Why? It's first class hearing. You hear something, you follow it. Second class people are the people who hear it, but they will not follow it unless they see it. They see some person, okay, this guy was smoking cigarette, he left the world. Okay, this guy smoked cigarette, he got lung cancer, let's say. Something, he got into disease and something. Then we see that, we get scared, and then we stop smoking. Correct? So by hearing, we don't believe it. But when we see people, right? For anything else, let's say drugs, right? Whatever. When we see someone, they are going through some trouble. Then, like for example, when we are driving, right? And suddenly police comes and gives a ticket to someone, we suddenly slow down. So we know that we should not drive at some. But when we see someone getting a ticket, then we slow down. So that is second class of hearing, which means that we are seeing something and then we are following it. Correct? And then third class of, so first is you have heard, still not following it. Second is you have seen, still not following it. Third is you have experienced it. Now I experienced that eating sugar causes diabetes. Now actually it happened to me. I mean, I'm just apparently saying. So now you will stop eating sugar. That now I am actually experiencing. I saw some people getting diabetes after eating sugar. Still they are eating. But now I have experienced it. Oh, really? I will get it. Like for example, right? Yudhishthira Maharaj tells to Yaksha. Yaksha asks Yudhishthira Maharaj in Mahabharata that what is the most, what do you call it? Ascharya. Surprising. What is the most surprising thing that you see in this world? He said that everybody sees others, that death is certain, and still they feel that I will be saved. That we live our lives in such a way that I will be saved, no problem. And that's why they don't ask this question, what am I doing? Mark Twain asked this question. There are two births. The day you were born, and the second day is your birth when you know where you were born. Correct? So the importance of what is the aim of life? What is the aim of life? Correct? Yudhishthira Maharaj says that we are seeing everyone dying, but still we think that we will not die. But when we experience it, eating sugar causes diabetes. I got diabetes. So now we are following. Right? We have a particular menu or whatever. Now diet way. So first was hearing, following. Second is not hearing, but now seeing and following. Third is experiencing and following. And then fourth is not even that. And that leads to complete downfall of a person. So not even hearing and seeing. So there are people, right? Because the heart is so weak, weakness of heart. Even after experiencing, right? People will see that gulab jamun or some cake and they know my health is not good. Still pop into the mouth, right? That is fourth class of people where even by going through all those three, still not able to. That is because of weakness of heart. And we see that, right? And that is why this entire chapter, especially in this first 10 verses, Krishna is saying to Arjuna that it is importance of hearing. One should have this nature of hearing transcendental literature, like Bhagavad Gita, Srimad Bhagavatam. Because when we keep hearing this, we get the realization that we are not this body, we are the spirit soul, something higher. We are a spiritual entity having a material experience, not a material entity sometimes getting a spiritual experience. We are actually a spiritual being, spirit soul, but right now in a material experience. So, any questions? We'll go to the next verse. So here, what Krishna told Arjuna, that I have spoken. This is not your first time. Don't think that you're the first one to be spoken. I've spoken before. So now the question comes, he already spoke earlier. Now why is he speaking again? See, if you see the chain is Vivashwan, Manu, Ikshvaku. Correct? So Ikshvaku should be telling to someone else. Why is it Krishna is again telling to Arjuna? Why that disciplic succession was? Correct? So now, correct. So that is what the next verse is. You can repeat after me. Evam parampara praptam.
Evam parampara praptam.
Imam rajarshayo vidu.
Imam rajarshayo vidu.
Sakale neha mahata.
Sakale neha mahata.
Yoga nashta parantapa.
Yoga nashta parantapa.
Yoga means knowledge, transcendental knowledge. You can think. What is here mentioned? Science of one's relationship with Krishna. Again, right? Knowledge. Nashta means destroyed, scattered, right? So that's why the word is, there's a destruction of some science, and that's why he had to speak again. So Krishna is not telling why he had to speak again to Arjuna. Who wants to read?
Can I?
Yes, Ali, go ahead.
This supreme science was thus received through the chain of disciplic succession, and the saintly kings understood it in that way. But in course of time, the succession was broken, and therefore the science as it is appears to be lost.
Right? So it was going through saintly kings, but it was lost. And again, Krishna is speaking again to Arjuna. Let me see the purport.
It is clearly stated that the Gita was especially meant for the saintly kings, because they were to execute its purpose in ruling over the citizens. Certainly, Bhagavad Gita was never meant for the demoniac persons who would dissipate its value for no one's benefit and would devise all types of interpretations according to personal whims. As soon as the original purpose was scattered by the motives of the unscrupulous commentators, there arose the need to re-establish the disciplic succession. 5,000 years ago, it was detected by the Lord himself that the disciplic succession was broken, and therefore he declared that the purpose of the Gita appeared to be lost. In the same way, at the present moment also, there are so many editions of the Gita, especially in English, but almost all of them are not according to authorized disciplic succession. There are innumerable interpretations rendered by different mundane scholars, but almost all of them do not accept the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna, although they make a good business on the words of Sri Krishna. This spirit is demonic, because demons do not believe in God, but simply enjoy the property of the Supreme. Since there is a great need of an edition of the Gita in English, as it is received by the Parampara, disciplic succession system, an attempt is made herewith to fulfill this great want. Bhagavad Gita, accepted as it is a great boon to humanity. But if it is accepted as a treatise of philosophical speculations, it is simply a waste of time.
Right? Here, one of the very important point is Rajarshi. You see on the second line, middle word, Rajarshayo. Earlier, there are two kinds of, you can think of rishis. One is obviously Devarshi, that we will see different. Devarshi is basically rishis for the devatas. But there are two other important kinds of rishis. One is Rajarshi. Rajarshi means saintly kings. And this is the disciplic succession they are talking about, saintly kings. And other one is Brahmarshi. Brahmarshi means rishis in the line of Brahmanas. So in this section, he is talking about Rajarshi, saintly kings, disciplic succession. But nowadays, there are hardly any kings who can be called saintly. Kings means basically leaders. Now people, instead of becoming leaders, they are actually dealers. Dealer means they are dealing. It's like a business thing, right? There is a sense of exploitation, correct? And that's why now most of the parampara or disciplic succession that you will see is actually Brahma Rishi. And one of the parampara that you see, ISKCON is part of, is Brahma, Madhva, Gaudiya, Sampradaya, or you can say parampara. If you go to introduction, go back to introduction and last page of the introduction, or you can think of first chapter before that page. First chapter before that page. I don't know, in big book, what is the page number? 30. And in small book? Oh, everyone has big book? Perfect. Okay. So in that, or you can see here also, you can see disciplic succession. Right? So if you see here, Krishna, Brahma, Narada, Vyasa, Madhva. So that's why Brahma, Madhva, and then Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is here, Gaudiya, and then Sampradaya. So this entire Sampradaya is Brahma Rishi Sampradaya. Basically, it's of sages, saintly sages. Okay, and our Srila Prabhupada comes in this Sampradaya. And ISKCON that you popularly, that you are part of, it comes under this entire Sampradaya. Why? Because the current, if you see the kings, leaders, they are not saintly. Basically, the mood of exploitation is there. And that is why there is another sampradaya which is Brahma Sampradaya, Brahma Rishi Sampradaya, Brahma Rishi Sampradaya. Okay. Any questions, or we can go to the next verse? Okay, we'll go to the next verse. Okay, so now the question comes. Okay, so first he spoke, he said to whom he spoke before. Next, in the second verse, he spoke why he spoke to Arjuna. In the next third verse, he will speak about. In the second, he spoke why, but why only Arjuna? There were so many people. Duryodhan was also there. Duryodhan was there. Shakuni was there. What's so special about Arjuna? Right? In the third verse, Krishna will talk about that. And that is our acronym, W. Okay? Okay. You can repeat after me. Sa evayam maya tedya
स एवायं मया तेभ्यः
yoga prokta puratanaha
योगप्रोक्तः पुरातनः
bhakto si me sakha cheti
भक्तोऽसि मे सखा चेति
rahasyam yetad uttamam.
रहस्यं एतदुत्तमम्
Rahasya means secret, suspense, right? So this suspense, Krishna is saying to Arjuna, why? We'll see in this verse. Who wants to read the translation? Nobody.
That very ancient science of the relationship with the Supreme is today told by me to you, because you are my devotee as well as my friend, and can therefore understand the transcendental mystery of this science.
Yeah. So the first letter is worshipper. One has to be a worshipper of the Lord in order to assimilate the knowledge. Assimilation of transcendental knowledge comes through devotion, not through speculation. This is a very important point. Assimilation of knowledge comes through devotion and not through speculation. There are three ways one can acquire knowledge. First is Pratyaksha Praman. Pratyaksha Praman means you see something and based on that you find out you gain knowledge, right? For example, let's say now in this room, if the lights, I am able to give this example because remodeling was going on. So if I make a light which is completely red, you will see the entire room as red. So what you will see? You will see that, oh, this room is red color. And if I make it completely green, this red, instead of red I have green. So the point is the senses can be misleading. So the acharyas explain, the teachers explain, spiritual teachers explain that Pratyaksha Praman. Pratyaksha means through the senses. When you gain knowledge through the senses, it can be misdirected. There can be mistakes. And it is, right? It is. When we put also in science, when we used to study science, we used to say error, minus 1 point something from the e raised to some 0.000, some level of error is there, correct? Why? Because the senses are made like that. When you switch off the light, you will not be able to see your hand also, correct? So the first way of acquiring knowledge is through senses. In Sanskrit, it is known as Pratyaksha Praman. Praman means, you can say, knowledge. Okay, but that is not complete because there are mistakes in that. One can make mistakes, right? Let's say your eyes is only defective, like color blindness is there, so you will see something else, correct? That is one way, but in general also, anything that you see, not necessarily like sun. From here you can say, oh, sun is this much distance only, but actually it is so far, correct? Earth, we think that it is not moving, but it is moving. So we cannot really depend on our senses. Second way is Anuman Praman. Anuman Praman means through speculation. Speculation means through guesswork. Maybe it is like this. Maybe it is like that. Like for example, atomic theory. It kept on changing. There is one teacher in our in ISKCON. His name is Krishnanand Prabhu. So whenever he gives a class to first time someone has come, so he asks like that. He says, like for example, what is the formula of gravity? G equal to ms square, right? 9.8 ms square, sorry. And then he asked one of the person, is it still the same? You understood why he asked that question? Basically, indirectly saying that it keeps changing, right? Why it keeps changing? Atomic theory, then Bohr's atomic theory, then something else. It kept on changing. So the guesswork that we do is not necessary. It will be final, perfect. There are improvements that happens. Right? There are improvements. And then first, I remember they used to say that Tupperware came. Oh, that is best. Then they said, oh, Tupperware is not good. You should use something else. Then they said, oh, use stainless steel only. Then said, no, use aluminum only because heating gets faster. Things keep changing based on what they want to sell. Anuman Praman. That also has there might be some mistakes. Third kind of way of getting knowledge is through Shabda Praman. Shabda Praman means through books, wisdom books, but written by spiritual teachers, not by some armchair philosophers who are just sitting, having a cigar and deciding, oh, what does this mean? Correct? There is one verse in Bhagavad Gita, 15th chapter, verse number 15. So let's go to that verse. We can. So one of the interpretation of a scholar is this. You can see, Sarvasya Chaham Ridhi Sanivishto. Only first time we'll see. Sarvasya Chaham Ridhi Sanivishto Mata Smritir Jnanam Apohanam Cha. So you know what is the meaning that guy. So this means that Sarvasya Chaham, I reside in everyone's heart. Mata Smriti, from me comes remembrance, this forgetfulness and all that he mentions. But what was the interpretation that in one of the book it was mentioned by a scholar, university scholar? Why? Because there is no devotion. Assimilation of knowledge, not through devotion but through speculation. No, not seeing the context what it was. So for him it was all the tea, chaham, all the tea boiled on stove, sanivish stove, should be offered, by which smriti, intelligence, will come to you. So when you boil the tea on a stove and offer it to me, this is Krishna saying, then intelligence will come to you.
Really? This is real.
No, this is not true. This is speculation. Not coming through disciple succession, but creating your own meaning. And that is why this is important. Krishna, Srila Prabhupada, the best part about, Bhagavad Gita, this as it is Srila Prabhupada writes at the very start of the, I'll show you something. I don't know whether I showed this before. Preface. Yeah, see this. Who wants to read this? He's saying, what is my credit? Obviously, he has written more than million copies. I would say billion copies have been sold of this version of Bhagavad Gita. So, one should do some, right? I mean, put in Facebook or something, written by me, million copies sold. But now, what is Srila Prabhupada saying? What he has written, Bhagavad Gita as it is written by Srila Prabhupada, what he writes. Who wants to read? Only first 3 lines. Just read that much only.
If personally I have any credit in the matter, it is only that I have tried to present Bhagavad Gita as it is, without any adulteration. Before my presentation of Bhagavad Gita as it is, almost all the English editions of Bhagavad Gita were introduced to fulfill someone's personal ambition. But our attempt in presenting Bhagavad Gita as it is to present the mission of the Supreme Personality of Godhead Krishna.
So here he is saying, what is his credit? That he has not added or subtracted anything from what he has been taught from previous teachers. Right? How many of you have heard Chinese whisper? You say something to one person, then that person will say something to the other person, the other person will say something to the third, fourth person, and by the time the source, finally what the destination you are hearing and what the source is, things have already changed. Correct? Completely it has changed. That is Chinese whisper, right? But here, Srila Prabhupada very humbly he is saying, that is my credit. He is saying my credit is that I have copyrighted as it is. PhD means you should come up with something new. Srila Prabhupada is saying, I am not coming with anything new. I am presenting as it is. And that is the beauty of this book, Bhagavad Gita as it is. And that is why so many copies of this version has been distributed all over the world. Do you know what is the most widely distributed book on the planet? Bible, correct. You know what is the second one? Hariputtar. Harry Potter. Harry Potter. God save the world. Harry Potter. And third is Bhagavad Gita. And especially because of Bhagavad Gita as it is. Mostly one of the mostly distributed literature around the globe. Obviously the credit goes to Srila Prabhupada. So here he is saying that this science is explained to you. Krishna is telling to Arjuna, I am explaining this science because you are my very dear friend and you are a devotee of the Lord. Right? You are a devotee of the Lord. You want to understand. I want to show you one video. Yeah. This one. So this is from Sri Ramanujacharya Sampradaya, if I am not wrong. Okay. He is trying to understand world map through a verse from Mahabharata. Okay. And you see how he is trying to understand it. Okay.
One day, while studying the Mahabharata, a 5,000-year-old epic of ancient India, he came across some intriguing verses. In the 5th chapter of Jambu Kanda, Bhishma Parva of Mahabharata, it is said,
Sudarshanam pravakshami dvipastu gurunandana parimandalo maharaja dvipoyam chakra samstita yato hi purusha pashet darshanam mukamatmana evam sudarshana dvipo drishyate chandramandale द्विरंशे पिप्पलस्तत्र द्विरंशे च ससोमः सर्वौषधि समावाये सर्वतः परिवारिता.
This Bharat Khanda is called Sudarshana Dvip, since it looks beautiful to the eyes of the onlookers.
He's talking about the world. Okay, he's talking about the world.
Being circular, it looks like the disk of the Lord, and it is attached to cyclic time in the form of a disk presided over by Lord Sudarshana. Bharat Khanda is in the form of a globe, since all of its 4 corners. Bharat Khanda appears like the rabbit and a small peepal leaf.
So what that verse was saying, that this world looks like a rabbit and a peepal leaf. So when he saw that verse, he was confused. How does the world looks like a rabbit and a peepal leaf? Okay. So this is what he read in that verse from Mahabharata 5,000 years ago.
While the other half appears in the form of a big peepal leaf, with all of them surrounded by varieties of vegetation. Pondering the verses, he became perplexed. What on earth can a rabbit and peepal leaves have to do with geography or cosmography? As he sought to understand their meaning, he contemplated, meditated, and prayed. Finally, by divine inspiration, he sketched a drawing of the rabbit and the peepal leaves, but still remained mystified about their connection with the Earth's geography. Suddenly it dawned on him that if the drawing was turned upside down, the rabbit perfectly corresponded with Europe, Asia, and Africa, while the peepal leaves corresponded with North America, South America, and Australia. These continents comprise.
Okay, so again, the point is the assimilation of knowledge comes through devotion and not through speculation. So Shabda Praman, which is basically hearing from disciplic succession. That is the importance of this verse. Okay, we'll go to the next verse now. So what is the W in wisdom? Worshipper, which is devotion, through devotion. Okay, next verse. Oh, sorry. 4.4. Yeah, 4.3 we completed. So now Arjuna is asking, I am little confused. You came from the womb of Mother Devaki, right? In Dwapar Yuga. How am I to understand that you came you spoke to Vivashwan. I mean, it is a logical question, right? What this shows is one can ask questions. It's not like when you're listening in disciplic succession means you're not supposed to ask anything. You can ask question that you will see in 4th chapter 34th verse. What is the mood of a recipient? With what mood he should ask questions? That you will see in 34th verse when we'll come to that. But in 4th verse, we just see that how Arjuna now is asking question to Krishna. Obviously, Arjuna is a very great Vaishnava, devotee. One should understand when he's asking this question, he's asking for all of us. Okay, you can repeat after me. Arjuna uvacha aparam bhavato janma param janma vivasvata katham etad vijaniyam tvam madhav proktavaniti. Yeah, translation.
Arjuna said, the sun god, is it Vivashwan?
Vivaswan.
Is senior.
So if
by-
there is a line above A, it is A,
Okay.
and if it is only A, then A.
Okay. So Vivashwan is senior by birth to you. How am I to understand that in the beginning you instructed this science to him?
Oh, sorry, I kept on scrolling. I was reading the purport. Okay, we'll skip the purport. So the point is now Arjuna is asking Krishna, how should I understand? Right? How should I understand? So he completed the first section of 4th chapter, verse number 1 to verse number 4, which is worship. How one can understand this knowledge is through worship. And you saw that in that video, right? Prayers, by prayers. And sometimes we also in a position where when we are not sure whatever we are doing, is it correct? How to understand this entire knowledge, right? One should pray. One should pray, and then one can understand this kind of knowledge. Okay, now we are entering the second section, which is from 5 to 10. Let's see. At least we can try to complete till 8, and that time I will tell you the I. Okay. Shri Bhagwan Uvacha Bahuni me vyatitani Janmani tava charjuna Tanyaham veda sarvani Na tvam vetha parantapa. Okay. Who wants to read the translation?
The personality of the Godhead said, many births both you and I have passed. I can remember all of them, but you cannot. All subdue of them.
So this shows Krishna's superior position very clearly. And sometimes people think that, oh, Krishna is just another cowherd boy or a simple person. Here he is telling to Arjuna that you will not remember your past lives. And you have gone through many lives, but you don't remember your past lives. But I remember everything. That shows Krishna's superior position here. Right? So, okay, we'll skip this. We'll go to the next verse. Ajopi san avyayatma Bhutanam Ishwaropi san Prakritim swam adhisthaya Sambhavamyatmamayaya. So when there is a Y and there is a space and then there is some letter, you should try to combine the two. It is easier to recite. So we should not say Sambhavami Atmamayaya. It will then you are having two syllables, me and a. Instead you should say mya. So that is one syllable, mya. But it is difficult sometimes for combining and reading. So Srila Prabhupada very painstakingly broke the words for us. Okay, who wants to read the translation?
Although I am unborn and my transcendental body never deteriorates, and although I am the Lord of all living entities, by my internal energy, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form.
Yeah. So here he's saying, my body never deteriorates. Our body deteriorates, right? We become old. Like once there was in a restaurant, a man saw husband and wife sitting together and eating. So he saw only the man was eating, not the woman. Woman was not eating. Woman was just seeing the man. This man felt like, this who was seeing, he felt that this husband is cruel. He eats alone. He doesn't allow his wife to eat. So he said, I will order for you if you want. He said, no. We are a very nice couple. We share. So, and they are old people. So he said, he's okay. He said, okay. He said, 10 minutes. So only the husband is only eating. So then what is the problem? Why are you not eating? He said, we share everything, even our teeth. So he was waiting for him to complete so that he can start eating. She can start. The point is, our health deteriorates. That is the nature of material body, physical body. It deteriorates. We might think that, never will happen that day when old age will come. But believe it or not, it will come. Right? And that's why there are four miseries. There are 4 top miseries which scriptures explain. 4 top miseries. First is, okay, I was thinking people will say at the end, birth. If you have questions about why birth is a misery, I'll show you one video at the end of the class. Birth. Second is disease, right? Birth, disease. Disease, we might say that, I will never get disease. But you get it, right? COVID. Third, old age. You might think old age will never come, but old age comes. Right? And things become tough then. Correct? Fourth, death. These are the 4 problems in life which is common to all. Nobody wants it, but still everybody gets it. Birth, death, old age, disease. These are the main problems of life. Right? And Krishna doesn't go through any of them. That's why he's saying transcendental body. It's not ordinary body. It's a transcendental body which never deteriorates. When he was speaking this Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, his age was 125. His age was 125. But you doesn't see him as a he doesn't do like that while speaking, right? So there's no in this entire verses because he's still youth at Kaushara age, and he remains like that. He remains the youth because he's supreme personality of Godhead. So he says, although I am the Lord of all living entities, I still appear in every millennium in my original transcendental form. Original, he comes as he is. He doesn't come as he's not forced to come, right? He's not forced to come. Like we are forced to come. Did we decide who should be our parents? Maybe I prefer Bill Gates, right? It's not. We never chose our parents, right? Did we choose our skin of the color? No, right? Never chose that. We were forced by some reason, correct? But when Krishna comes, he chooses his parents. He chooses his place. He chooses his pastimes. He is supreme personality of Godhead. Okay. We're short of time. I'm thinking whether we should. Okay, we'll skip. Homework. Read this purport. So now the question comes, but why he has to come? Right? Why he has to come? So 7th, 8th, one of the most famous verses that you have heard in B.R. Chopra, Mahabharata. After millennium, those 2 verses, famous verses will now come. And it is very, very important verse. These 2 verses talks about why Krishna comes in this material world. Next 2 verses. And I think we'll be able to do only those next 2. Actually, this entire section is till 10th. But we will do only till 8th, most probably. 7, 8th. I want to complete these 2 verses. Wow. Big purports, homework. Okay. So, you can repeat after me.
This
Yeah,
is the I for the wisdom.
Yes, I. That is incarnation. Avatar, incarnation. So, he talks about his incarnation. Why he comes or some of his incarnations come. यदा यदा हि धर्मस्य ग्लानिर्भवति भारत अभ्युत्थानम् अधर्मस्य
अभ्युत्थानम् धर्मस्य
तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
तदात्मानं सृजाम्यहम्.
We'll sing the next verse also together. परित्राणाय साधूनां
परित्राणाय साधूनां
विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम्
विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम्
धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय
धर्मसंस्थापनार्थाय
संभवामि युगे युगे.
संभवामि युगे युगे.
Yuge yuge means millennium after millennium, right? And dharma samstha, to situate the religion, dharma. Okay, let's go to the previous verse. Who wants to read the translation? Go ahead.
Whenever and wherever there is a decline in religious practice, O descendant of Bharata, and a predominant rise of irreligion, at that time I descend myself.
Right. So three things: decline in religious practice. Right. That was happening. Duryodhan, Shakuni, all these people. In case of Lord Ramachandra, Ravana. Right. In case of Narsimadev, Hiranyakashipu. Basically, whenever there are irreligious activities which are not favorable for someone's spiritual life, when that becomes very, very rampant, you'll understand that there will be some incarnation or some person to set back that dharma. If you see, Jesus Christ came, right, when in case, so like that, every time when some problems are coming and becomes rampant, that time you will see someone coming to give the knowledge. And in this case, you see Krishna, Lord Ramachandra, Narsimadev, Varahadev came. When Hiranyaksha was creating havoc in life, everybody's life. Right? So, decline in religious practice. Basically, religious practice was difficult. And then, O descent of Bharata and predominant rise of irreligion. Same. Decline of religious practice. At that time, I descend. But that is not the only reason. In the next verse, he will say, who wants to read?
To deliver the pious and to annihilate the miscreants, as well as to re-establish the principles of religion, I myself appear millennium after millennium.
So, to re-establish the principles of religion, to again institute dharma. Also, to annihilate those miscreants, basically those people who are trying to create havoc to the society, dealing with that. But very important, to deliver the pious, also to have that loving relationship with the people who are devotees of the Lord, right? In Vrindavan, you see Mother Yashoda to have that pastimes, the gopis, the gopas, his friends, his cowherd boys. So creating that kind of relationship. So he comes for that also. That is major reason. Other things are like side effects. It comes as a part of it. But the main reason he comes is to have that loving relationship with his devotees. Okay, let's try to read a little bit these two purports and then we'll stop. Okay, I'm thinking. Okay, maybe I'll read. Okay, little bit I'll read. Second paragraph, then you read. I just want to read some section. The word Srijami, is everybody there? Purport. The word Srijami is significant here. Srijami cannot be used in the sense of creation because according to the previous verse, there is no creation of Lord's form or body since all of the forms are eternally existent. Okay. Therefore, Srijami means that the Lord manifests himself as he is. Although the Lord appears on schedule, namely at the end of Dwapar Yuga, of the 28th millennium of the 7th Manu, in one day of Brahma, we will see this in the future verses. What does one day of Brahma means and all. He has no obligation to adhere to such rules and regulations because he is completely free to act in many ways at his will. Okay, I'll pause here and we'll go to the next paragraph. And next paragraph, next purport we'll read entirely. Who wants to read the last paragraph of this purport? Now we're in the last paragraph, the principles of Bhagavad Gita.
The principles of the Bhagavad Gita were spoken to Arjuna and for that matter to other highly elevated persons because he was highly advanced compared to ordinary persons in other parts of the world. 2 plus 2 equals 4 is a mathematical principle that is true in the beginner's arithmetic class and in the advanced class as well. Still, there are higher and lower mathematics. In all incarnations of the Lord, therefore, the same principles are taught, but they appear to be higher and lower in varied circumstances. The higher principles of religion begin with the acceptance of the 4 orders and the 4 statuses of social life, as will be explained later. The whole purpose of the mission of incarnations is to arouse Krishna consciousness everywhere. Such consciousness is manifest and non-manifest only under different circumstances.
Yeah. So one point here is there are rules and regulations set forth by Vedic scriptures. One of the things is 4 orders, which is brahmacharya. Brahmacharya means you gain knowledge as a bachelor, or in case of girl something else. You gain the knowledge, then you enter into next life, which is married life, grahastha. Okay. Then once you reach 50, you get into vanaprastha life, sort of ending your so-called and getting more attached to spirituality. And then you take sannyas. Either you take sannyas or you remain in vanaprastha. And for some people, from the brahmachari life, you directly take sannyas, renunciation. So these are ashram. These are ashramas. 4 ashram. Parallelly, there are 4 varnas. Varna is Brahmana, Kshatriya, Vaishya, and Shudra. What does basically in our life means is there are intellectual people, and there are people who are intellectual brain, intellectual people. Then there are administrators, like you see politicians. There are administrators. They are administrating the entire system, right? Third is working class, one who generates money. Bill Gates, Bezos, Mark Zuckerberg, like who are creating money. Vaishyas they are called. Vaishyas means business mercantile, right? In India we have Gujaratis and Marwadis and Sindhis. Primarily depends. Now everything is same, but Vaishyas, business class people who creates money, who helps creates employment, those kind of people. And then Shudras, they are assistant people. They are basically to tell me what to do, I'll get it done, right? They're those kind of people, basically, who are assistant. They're very good in assisting people and getting the work done, right? So in our, we understand intellectual, administrative, then business class people, mercantile people, and fourth is assistant. So like this, there are 4 divisions made even in Vedic scriptures. And when that get disturbed a lot, then Krishna comes to reset the dharma. Okay. Okay, now this is important. So what we said is the second I is incarnation, correct? And this is the verse. He says here, if you see, yeah, here he says avatar. Avatar is not, I mean, that movie Avatar is also coming from this scripture only. Everything comes from Bhagavad Gita and Vedic scriptures. Ava means to come down, and tar means to deliver or to make someone cross the ocean of nations. So avatar means to descend, to transcend someone through this ocean of nations, which is this material world. So incarnations, they come, they descend from higher realm to lower realm to help people to deliver themselves from these nations of 4 problems. Okay, we will read only these 2 paragraphs and then we will stop. Who wants to read?
The avatara or incarnation of Godhead descends from the kingdom of God for material manifestation, and the particular form of personality of Godhead whose so descends is called an incarnation or avatara. Such incarnations are situated in the spiritual world, the kingdom of God. When they descend to the material creation, they assume the name avatar.
Okay, so now next paragraph, see there are some italics, right? We'll little bit expand on each italic. It's not like one kind of incarnation only, right? There are many different kinds of incarnations. We'll discuss one in brief. Go ahead.
There are various kinds of avatars, such as Purusavataras.
Yeah, 1 minute. We'll okay. You go ahead. Complete that. Then we'll discuss.
Okay. Purusavataras, Gunavataras, Leelavataras, Shakti Avataras, Manvatara Avataras, Yugavat and Yugavataras, all appearing on stable all over the universe. But Lord Krishna is the primitive Lord, the fountainhead of all avatars. Lord Krishna descends for the specific purpose of mitigating the anxieties of the pure devotees who are very anxious to see him in his original Vrindavana pastimes. Therefore, the prime purpose of Krishna Avatara is to satisfy his analoid devotees.
Yeah. Okay. We'll go through each avatars. We'll see how much we can complete. Purusha avatars. So there are 3 Purusha avatars. So from Krishna comes Balramji. From Balram comes Chaturvyuha. From Chaturvyuha comes Narayan. From Narayan comes second set of Chaturvyuhas. And from there comes Mahavishnu. Mahavishnu is the one from whom many universes comes out. When he breathes out, then all the universes created. When he breathes in, all the universes comes back. Mahavishnu. Maha means great. Vishnu. Mahavishnu. That is first Purusha Avatara. From that Mahavishnu comes many Garbhodaksha Vishnu, which enters into every universe. In every universe, the second Vishnu is Garbha. Garbha means the womb. From there comes the lotus leaf. Lotus stem of the lotus, from where Brahmaji comes. So that Vishnu that you see, that is Garbho Dakshai Vishnu. And third, in every jiva, in every soul, there is Paramatma. That is the third Vishnu, which is Kshira Dakshai Vishnu. So Mahavishnu or Karno Dakshai Vishnu. Second is Garbho Dakshai Vishnu for every universe. And third is Kshiro Dakshai Vishnu for every living entity. These 3 together are Purusha Avataras. Okay, this is what we are going to discuss next 3 minutes. It's little technical, but just go through it. When you keep on going through it, you will grow through it. Okay, so second is Guna Avataras. What are the 3 gunas? Mode of goodness, mode of passion, and mode of ignorance. Everything that we do, we can actually do the same thing in 3 modes. We discussed last time, right? Let's say driving a car. Mode of goodness is you are seeing the signal, you are going through it, you are seeing red signal, you are stopping, you are seeing green signal, you are starting, you are having that speed and all, right? And if you have Tesla, anyways, you will go through it because otherwise they have this insurance based on how you are driving. They monitor it. So you are driving in mode of goodness. Mode of passion is you have a Toyota, but you are driving like a Ferrari, right? Like 120 miles per hour, something like that, right? Mode of passion. And mode of ignorance is you have a Toyota, but you are thinking it's a Tesla. You are sleeping and you are driving, right? Automatic. You are thinking it's automatic, but it's not Toyota. So I have Toyota RAV4. That's why I keep giving example. Toyota. So everything that you do, you can do in 3 modes. So Guna Avataras, there are 3 Guna Avataras. One who is the controller of mode of goodness, that is Lord Vishnu, which is needed for maintenance. Then there is a controller of mode of passion, which is needed for creation. That is Brahmaji, right? Because you need passion to create, right? And you are an entrepreneur, you need this passion so that you can work from 9 to 9 a.m. to 9 a.m., 24 hours. Entrepreneurs have that passion, right? For creation, you need passion. For maintenance, you need goodness, because maintaining something is not easy. So you can do that 7-day, you have 21-day challenge, right? Every day you do this first, but after 21 days, you have to continue. That needs mode of goodness, correct? And then mode of destruction, mode of ignorance needs. For destruction, you need mode of ignorance, right? Who is the controller of that mode of ignorance? Shiva, right? That's why Gunavataras are Vishnu, Brahma, and Shiva, Lord Shiva. Right? So Lord Shiva is not he is not in mode of ignorance. Understand this. He is the controller. Like how Vivaswan is the controller of sun planet. So similarly, Lord Shiva is the controller of mode of ignorance. Fourth is Lila Avtaras. He comes to have some pastimes with his devotees, share some pastime with his devotees. That is Lila Avtaras. Some of the examples, Lord Ramachandra, then Vara Avatar, Matsya Avatar, these are all Lila Avtaras. He comes to have some pastime with his devotees. Balramji. Then is Shakti Avesh Avatar. What is Shakti Avesh Avatar? Shakti Avesh Avatar means these are simple jivas, human beings, but they are empowered to do something great. Scriptures explain one of the example is Jesus Christ. He came to do something, re-establish this dharma in certain section of the world. Srila Prabhupada. In Srimad Bhagavad, there is an example of Prithu Maharaj, Shakti Avesh Avatar.
So they are not the Lord themselves.
They are not the Lord themselves, but they are empowered personalities to do something great in the world. Prithu Maharaj, there is an entire section of story of Prithu Maharaj where it is mentioned in the Shakti Avesh Avatar. Means he is a jiva, a human being, or not a human being, a spirit soul, jiva tattva, but empowered to do something great. And then Manvantar Avtaras. How we have Manu. There are in one day of Brahma there are 14 Manus. So there are various Manvantaras. So 14 Manvantaras. So they are also Avtaras of Lord Vishnu. We'll see that more in 8th chapter. So I'm holding off. It's a little more technical. And then you have Yuga Avtaras. Yuga Avtaras means for every Yuga we have 4 Yugas. Satya Yuga, Treta Yuga, Dwapar Yuga, Kali Yuga. So for every Yuga there is a purpose of that Yuga. To establish that purpose of that Yuga, there is one avatar. For this Kali Yuga, the avatar is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. It was a trick question. So Kalki came. He is also an avatar, one of the Dash avatars that we hear, right? But more like a Lila avatar to set up back the principle of dharma. But Yuga Avatar is considered as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And what dharma he is trying to establish? The chanting of holy names of the Lord. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The 3-minute video on the scientific benefits of chanting of the holy names. After that, we will do 10 times of chanting. Then we will read one paragraph of Vaishnava etiquette. How we do corporate etiquettes are there. Like that, there are Vaishnava etiquettes also, devotee etiquettes. We'll see. If we have time, we'll read. Then we'll skip, and then we'll have prasadam, sanctified food, best food. Okay. So we'll read this. We'll hear this video. It's only 4 minutes. So, scientific reasons behind chanting of the holy names. Then we'll do some little bit of chanting. Okay.
Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. The Hare Krishna Maha Mantra is one of the most popular mantras of current times. It is a mantra which has many benefits. The mantra can bring about many changes on regular chanting. The entire mantra has 16 names of the Lord. In Kali Yuga, it is said that chanting the names of the Lord is the highest form of sadhana or spiritual discipline. The mantra has 3 names of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. They are namely Hare, Krishna and Rama. Hare represents the inner potency of the Supreme Lord Krishna. Hare is also the name of Lord Krishna's love and service potency, namely Srimati Radharani. Chanting Hare regulates the heart chakra and cleanses the muck within the heart. The heart chakra is the meeting point of the higher chakras, namely the Sahasra, Agna and Vishuddhi, and the lower chakras, namely the Muladhara, Swadhisthana and Manipuraka chakras respectively. Hence, chanting the Hare Krishna Mahamantra refers to the balancing and harmonizing of the higher and lower chakras. Chanting the Lord's name Rama especially balances the fire, sun and moon elements. Chanting the name Krishna evokes great power through the Vishuddhi chakra, and the name Hare, which represents Srimati Radharani, cleanses the lower tendencies of the heart and makes it pure. By regular chanting of the 16 names of the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, one becomes composed and peaceful. it is necessary that one should take up 16 rounds of chanting on a 108 beaded mala or rosary made of tulsi or basil plant stem. Chanting the Mahamantra on tulsi beads is highly beneficial because the toxins of the body mind are absorbed and grounded by the tulsi beads as one chants the mantra. Regular repetition of 16 rounds of Mahamantra every day for a period of 6 months will ensure that all blockages of emotions that normally happen in the heart are removed. If the chanting is sincere and well intentioned, one can never develop heart disease. One should start getting good sleep and energy to work and perform gets enhanced dramatically. It shall also draw the immense grace of Lord Krishna, and the greatest advantage of chanting the Mahamantra is that one shall develop clarity of thought, and the decision making capability of the individual is increased by over 100 times. By regular chanting of the mantra, one will slowly move to the spiritual domain and give up materialistic views about life. One should also develop great convincing and logical capabilities as one regularly chants the mantra. If one takes to the spiritual path by choice, as one keeps chanting the mantra has the capability to draw one's spiritual master through sustained repetitions of the mantra. The Hare Krishna Mahamantra is like pure undiluted nectar which can grant immortality to the chanter, and one will soon realize the purpose of life and shall be given a vision of what lies beyond death through regular chanting.
Okay. So then we will chant the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, but we will do only 10 times. We'll start from here. Maybe we'll do 20. We'll start from here. Krishna 1, Krishna 2, Krishna 3, Krishna 4, Krishna 5, Krishna 6, Krishna 7, Krishna 8, Krishna 9, Krishna 10. Okay. So we'll do 20 times. One set and again 2 set. Okay. We'll chant together and we'll just focus on we'll just hear the names. We'll all chant together and we'll focus on the names. Okay. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare. Hare Ram, Ram Hare Hare. Thank you very much for patiently listening throughout the entire session. Oh, we were 7 minutes late. Sorry. We will have now prasadam. I think devotees will be serving.